Well. Good morning, chat. How are you all doing on this fine Thursday? I'm ready for science. I've got my lab coat on. I've got my safety goggles on. I've got my overglasses safety goggles on. See, just that made me smile. I love it. I love it too. I was happy to put on a little bit of a science coat for us. Would the clipboard say? I actually don't know. Buy that lab coat on eBay. I will never reveal my sources. Ready for some weird science? That was a messed up show, man. Techni, the science guy. I like that. Shelly B, thank you so much for the 3 months going strong. Hell yes, Shelly B, thank you. I don't see a hot tub around though. We're gonna make the hot tub with science. We're actually gonna make the hot tub with D&D, and it's just gonna be in our minds. Getting a Mythbusters flashback for some reason. I'm sure we're probably gonna bust some myths. I have a science question. Can you please tell me, Mr. Scientist Streamer, how Babby is formed? It's magic, right? Makes the baby. Then Stork puts baby in a blanket, flies it 500 miles above the surface of the earth to where it's supposed to be delivered. Stole the lab coat from his previous job 100%? No, I bought it. I bought myself a lab coat. Figured why not? Why not have a lab coat? I'm a scientist. Where do babies come from? Storks and magic, basically. Oh my goodness, Hazard Girl with the 15 frickin' months. Finally got a break from work after 2 weeks. Also science. Oh man, Hazard showing up for the science stream? That's awesome. What's your focus so I know what questions to ask? So Frank, my focus, my degree is in biology. I did my master's in functional genomics. But most of my work experience has been in analytical chemistry and instrumentation and gas chromatography and mass spectrometry and liquid chromatography, all that stuff. But I figure, you know, my first year science has probably taught me enough to take a hazardous guess at just about anything. I'm gonna answer any question that I even possibly can. But I will always disclaim how much I know about the answer I'm giving. So if I'm completely making shit up and just guessing, I will tell you that. Science question, Daindrop's prangent sex? Will it hurt baby top of its head? Yes, very badly. Don't do that. Very badly it hurt baby top of head. I don't think dropping babies from the sky is very safe. The storks are very good at it. Is that how you invented the moan bark fart? I didn't invent that. Can you answer why the sky is blue? I think it's dust particles filtering out some colors of the sun or something like that. But that's basically me trying to remember from way back in the day. Safety glasses to protect from toxic Twitch comments. Good choice. I'm safe now. I'm safe. No melting my eyeballs. Okay, just a sec. The goggles are actually giving me a bit of a headache, so we're not going to do goggles anymore. You saw the goggles, you appreciated the goggles, and now the goggles are gone because they're giving me a headache. How do birds fly? Shit looks exhausting AF. Magic? You need that eye surgery? Then goggles forever? I would like to get the eye surgery, man. Mr. Science Man, do the poops push the farts out, or do the farts push the poop out? It's a collaborative process. They help each other, man. It's just a whole lot of love down there. It's a whole lot of cooperation. If only people could get along as well as farts and poop, I think we'd be a happier world. What are your thoughts on gravity? Do you believe Newton's theory, or do you think Einstein was right with gravity not being a force at all, but a curvature of time and space caused by mass and energy? Yeah. Basically, you know, I would expound upon my answer, but really, I think just basically yes. Yeah. Okay, it's science stream. It's not fart day. Okay, it's not fart day. It's science stream. So, just behave, chat, while we do science. Okay? Could you just behave while we do science for a little bit? Is it a white shirt or a lab coat? It's a full lab coat. Full lab coat. I don't think I have it. Oh, I do have a little pocket up here. Hey, biologist, in the female human cycle, does the luteinizing hormone surge occur just before or right during the process of ovulation? Since we're on BB topic, both. Both. When making a PB&J, is it more scientifically efficient to put the peanut butter or jelly on first? Okay, so here's how you scientifically make a PB&J sandwich, okay? You get a slice of bread, nice white fluffy bread, right? And you put the jam on. Put the jam on the bread. You want a pretty decent layer, right? Not just thin, right? But just a nice layer of jam or jelly, whichever one you prefer, right? Then you get the other piece of bread, right? And you put it on the table. This is important. You can't hold the piece of bread when you do this. And you get the peanut butter and you throw it in the fucking garbage, put the two pieces together, and you eat your jelly sandwich without the fucking nasty ass peanut butter on it. So that's how you do that. How does ingestion of cannabinoids affect ADD and or depression? Okay, so now we got a real question. From Not That Bright. How does ingestion of cannabis affect ADD or depression? And this, I feel like we're probably going to do a bunch of weed questions today, because I do have 4 years of work. I think it's 4 years of work experience at a cannabinoid lab where I did all kinds of research on cannabis. I did all kinds of chemical testing on cannabinoids. I helped design cannabinoid producing enzymes, all sorts of stuff. This is an interesting question, and you're not going to like the answer, because the answer is nobody has a good answer to that, really. There hasn't been enough studies done on it. The only answers we have about how cannabinoids affect ADD is through like anecdotal evidence. We have lots of stories of people who say, I have ADD and or ADHD, or whatever it's called. I definitely don't know. But somebody says, I have ADD, I smoke weed, and it lets me focus, and then I can do things. It calms my brain down, I can focus, and I'm way more productive because I have cannabis. Then you have other people who say, I have ADD, I smoke weed, and then I get fucking paranoid and freaked out, and it makes me go fucking nuts. And so unfortunately, you have opposite ends of the spectrum. If I had to guess, I would say ADD is probably not a single cause syndrome. I would say there's probably a lot of things that lead to forms of ADD. There's also different kinds of strains and how they interact with your body, and so probably the type of ADD you have, the strain you use, and your specific body chemistry will tell you the answer. And then also, it's interesting that you said ingestion of cannabinoids, because ingestion generally means eating. And if you eat cannabinoids, the THC is turned into delta 11 hydroxy THC by your liver, and that's a different compound than the delta 9 THC that makes it into your blood if you smoke it. And so that's another level of answer of, I don't know what the difference is between delta 11 hydroxy THC and delta 9 THC and how they affect ADD and stuff like that. Science question: how the fuck do you milk an almond? You gotta press real hard. You gotta get like a hydraulic press. You gotta really squeeze that thing. What's the comparison between Delta 8 and THC as far as a reduction of side effects? Interesting question. So first of all, Delta 8 is THC. The media and internet, they say Delta 8 here, THC here. But that's not what it is. It's Delta 8 THC and Delta 9 THC. That's the difference. In terms of side effects, I don't know. I don't think Delta 8 has been consumed for long enough for us to have any kind of a list of side effects. Hell, we don't even have the good enough science on Delta 9 right now to be able to list all the ways that it interacts with the different types of body chemistries for Delta 9. So Delta 8, we have no fucking clue. Oh my God. Space with the 8 months Dillinger's dong, giving that sub to Prostate Tunic. And a Kartuki. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Holy shit. Riz plays games. Dear Science, where pee stored? In the balls. Which is why girls don't go pee. If I'm trying to think if I could make that answer any more problematic. How does the Neuralink work? Listen, that we can't ask that question, okay? We get in trouble. Okay. Silly question, but I'm honestly curious. Would boofing cannabis be similar or the same as ingesting it? Way more potent. Way more potent. So boofing, the process of taking stuff up the bum, drug-wise, is one of the most effective methods to have the effect of the compound, because the colon is a mucosal membrane with like a crazy thin barrier to the bloodstream, and it's designed for uptake, like really strongly uptaking stuff into the bloodstream. It's kind of like a last-ditch effort before the poop is deemed ready for just like getting rid of it. It's no longer useful for us. The body tries to extract any last goodies out of it. And so that crazy high absorption in the colon or in the rectal area means that when you put a drug up there, the body absorbs it immediately and puts it directly into the blood flow. So if you boof things, it goes directly into the bloodstream. It doesn't need to exchange at the lungs. It doesn't need to go through digestion into the intestine. That's why boofing, when people like get super, super drunk from shoving alcohol up their ass, that's because of that phenomenon. If you boof on the regular, can you get rectal cancer like some people get mouth cancer? You know what, Stepdad Run? I don't know. It probably depends on what you're boofing and a bunch of other factors. I don't know. Alcohol, probably yes. I would think so. If you're boofing alcohol up the butt, alcohol helps to dissolve the mucosal membrane, which is why you get like cirrhosis and stuff like that. So probably something like that would happen in the rectal area from boofing alcohol, but that's mostly a guess from me. Should you consider 100 tech buck redeemed so you can have a queue of messages? That's an interesting question. Okay, you know what? Let's do that. Let me boot up a reward so you guys can queue up questions. That's a good idea. That's a clever idea. I should have thought of that. Add a new reward. Science question. Ask a question of science. Enter amount. 100 tech bucks sounds good. We're not going to have an image for it. Require viewer to enter text. Yes. Okay. And I think that should just basically do it. It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it, chat. Oh, that already exists. There we go. And it's live. There's now a 100 tech buck redemption for science. Just put a question in there. And I'll go through those as I see them. And can I get my reward queue? Review queue. Okay. Yeah, this is the way to do it. And if I pull this up here. Oh my goodness. So many, so quickly. Okay, now where does this start? Wow, I can't tell if it starts at the top or does it fill down at the bottom. Okay, it starts at the top. Would one of the deltas be a CBD? If not, how do they get the THC out of the CBD? No, so the delta refers to the position of the double bond in the compound. And THC and CBD are very different compounds. I believe THC is a double fused ring and CBD is a single fused ring, or it might be the other way around. So they're very different compounds. And you don't get THC out of CBD generally, unless you're doing CBD to delta 8, in which case it is an isomerization reaction, which requires a Lewis acid and a non-polar solvent that's boiled with CBD, and that'll make the THC. So it's a very complicated chemical reaction that's very easy to do. But the deltas refer to the position of the double bond in a single compound. Okay. Does delta 8 and 9 come from the same plants? These different strands to produce more of one of those. I know they do with hemp, so I thought it might be similar. So Oswald, this is interesting. This is why I've kind of cautioned people against delta 8. Delta 8 exists in the plants in a very small amount. Tiny amount. I did a little bit of research on how suddenly all this delta 8 product is coming into existence. And the thing is delta 8 doesn't come from a different plant. It's a chemical process to change delta 9 or CBD into delta 8. So delta 8 is only produced through a chemical reaction. The chemical reaction is a little bit sketchy. It's a little bit scary. It's not well understood. It's not well controlled, and it's not well tested, which is why delta 8 is kind of fucking sketchy. It's kind of scary. So that's why I always kind of caution people against delta 8. KMF Eternal, thank you for the 8-month resub. Vol Sound, thank you for the 5-month resub. And Wonderboy had 50 bits. Can I get a shout out? Hold on. Yeah, I fucking thought so. Wonderboy. You toxic frick. On Science Day? You frick? On Science Day? You besmirch the good name of Science Day? How dare you? PM Teddy, are you familiar with the Great Filter, and what are your thoughts on it? Great Filter. You're not talking about the blood-brain barrier, right? Because if you're talking about the blood-brain barrier, I think it's pretty cool. If you're thinking about some sort of way that our brain filters information, I don't think I know about that. Let me Google it. Universe Filter. The Great Filter. Okay, the first thing that came up was the Great Filter, Elon Musk. So I feel like I'm gonna love this. The Great Filter, in the context of the Fermi paradox, is whatever prevents non-living matter from undergoing abiogenesis in time to expanding lasting life as measured by the Kardashev scale. I gotta tell you, didn't understand any of that. Didn't understand a single piece of that. I'm skipping science class. Don't worry, you'll learn more this way. Okay, well, moving on. Okay, next we have computer science. Which sorting algorithm do you prefer, and what is the complexity of it? Ooh, interesting. Let's see. Sorting algorithm. Now I don't know a lot about this. Is the Markov chain a sorting mechanism? I know that I used Markov and neighbor joining in my phylogenetics. And I liked neighbor joining because it made things make more sense, but apparently Markov chain is more effective. Oh, why don't I move this over here? Oh, that's so much nicer. That's so much nicer. Oh, that's so much nicer. Now I can read chat so much better. Did we get our science degree in the stream ends today? I got an interview to be a scientist tomorrow and need it. Oh yeah, definitely. I'll print you guys out your certificates, your science certificates after today. Omitted Soul asks, why do we refer to our brains like it's a separate entity when it's just ourselves? Is it though? Where does the self reside? I like to think that our self is a non-physical component, and all the meat is just how we translate it. But I actually don't know. If we assume that we are just our meat brain, okay, hold on. If we assume there is no non-physical part of us, and we are the sum total of our meat brain, then technically there is no separation of meat brain and meat rest of us, and the whole of us makes up the parts of us. So every piece of us is us. And we refer to my hand, which is still me, the same as my brain, which is still me. Is the consciousness and body two separate things? The eternal question. My answer, yes. Do I know that for a fact? No. We're just living meat? Yeah, we're just living meat. We're just a piece of steak looking at ourselves in the mirror. Okay. How many atoms of hydrogen are in 100 grams of hydrogen peroxide? 100 grams times the fucking mole thing times 2 times the mole thing. Listen, I left my mole calculations back in high school, okay? I don't want to do that anymore. That whatever 6.02 times 10 to the 26 thing in 1 mole, and then how many moles in a gram times 2, because there's two of them. That many. Listen, I can't do the math in my head. That many. Big number. So I'd say 10. Yeah, 10 sounds pretty good. What was the most impressive thing you learned from doing research on weed in the past? Okay, the most impressive thing that I learned, this is kind of cool. Now, I want to take credit for this realization, but I feel like definitely there are some smarter people who realized it before me. I'm sure they've realized it before me, but I was the first one in my lab to recognize this, and we were on the cutting edge, so there can't be too many people who figured this out before me. The coolest thing that I learned is that there's 118 or more different cannabinoids, but there's some basic forms like THC, CBD, CBC, CBL. There's a bunch of basic structure forms, and we had this printout of like 70 or so cannabinoids, and I was just looking at this table of like 70 or 80 of the different cannabinoids, and it also had terpenes, And terpenes, there's like 5,000 terpenes. There's so many of them. And I had been looking at the structures of terpenes because I thought they would help with one of the experiments I was working on. And I noticed, I was like, hold on, this compound, this like CBLA, blah, 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 blah. This looks like a THC fused with a limonene. Like, if I split it right here, I get a limonene and a THC. I think there's a fucking enzyme in there that's been smashing terpenes and cannabinoids together. And a lot of the cannabinoids that we're seeing are actually fusions of terpenes and cannabinoids. And that was super fucking cool because it is a way of cannabinoids being made that I had never in all of my primary literature heard people talk about. So nothing ever came of that. We didn't publish an article on that. I didn't talk to people about it. Maybe I'm the only fucking person who knows this. But I thought it was really cool to see that. And I think a huge leap forward in our understanding of the synthesis of cannabinoids is going to be investigating this smashing of terpenes and cannabinoids together. Big peens. What kind of reaction is the isomo something reaction you mentioned? Oh, isomerization. Okay, so isomerization is basically keeping the compound as it is and shifting some of the bonds around. It's basically moving how the electrons are shared in the compound such that it is still basically the same compound, but with a slight structural difference so that it can have sometimes it has no difference in how it reacts with the body. Sometimes it has a huge difference in how it reacts with the body. There was this example of birth control, I don't know, in the 50s or something like that, or 40s. And it was a birth control pill. People took it, but the thing is they hadn't really they didn't know a lot about isomers. They didn't have good science on how to check for isomers. And unfortunately, when they were making this birth control pill, they were accidentally making a 50-50 of two different isomers of the birth control. And the people who took them, half of them had it work properly and they had birth control. The other half had babies with fused fingers and toes because the isomer caused that to happen in the children that were born. So that's the difference between isomers. A small difference. Basically, if you look at the atom as a flat atom, sometimes little bits will stick up and stuff will stick down. So basically, the one that worked properly had a piece of the atom sticking up. The one that made your toes and fingers web together had it point down. Chirality. Chiral isomers. I think it was a chiral isomer. Was it a chiral isomer? I thought it was just a flipped up down. But basically, that's the power of isomers. So delta 8 and delta 9 are isomers, and so to say that it's basically the same compound, and basically to say that delta 8 and delta 9 are basically the same compound while they are also isomers is a dangerous kind of similarity to make. I feel like such an idiot listening to this, and I'm in college. Don't even worry about it. A lot of this came from conferences, work experience. Some of it was learned in school, but school is like university and stuff is like a foundation, and then you do a lot of your learning and cementing of stuff in jobs and stuff after. Chat's now watching me. Why are they watching you, Atom? Okay, next question. Weird question, but why do you begin starting to smell like weed naturally, like when sweating after smoking so often? If that's not normal, then forget I asked. No, Bomb Pop, that is normal. That's actually very normal. Okay, can I answer that first? Can I answer it first? So I'll start with saying I don't know what the specific answer is. I have not looked up and categorized, like filed away the answer to this question. However, the compounds are stored, are fat soluble, so they can get stored in fat cells. They tend to linger in the body for a while in an inactive form. I suppose it's just if you take in cannabis regularly, you build up a reservoir in your body of maybe inactive forms. Well, no, okay, hold on, just a sec. THC and CBD don't have a smell. That's another thing. You can't smell THC. It has no smell. When you smell weed, that's all terpenes. That has nothing to do with THC and CBD. I don't know a good answer to that, but I know it's definitely I know it's a real phenomenon. To get a little bit text lewd for a moment, when I was looking through all the different fucking primary literatures and non-primary literatures, like just anecdotal forums and blogs and stuff like that, there's a little bit of a text lewd story where for the people who smoke a lot of weed, performing oral sex on them tastes like weed. To perform oral sex on someone who smokes a lot of weed. Yeah. So that's super interesting. I thought that was super interesting. So they don't just smell like it, they taste like it, which is interesting. I thought that was really interesting. Actually, you know what? Just a sec. I'm gonna make a command. I'm gonna make a little command because I don't think everybody knows. Okay. Add com !science. Redeem the science. Channel point reward to get your question in the queue. Okay, so now we have an !science command. I'm going to put that in the title so that everybody knows where I'm getting the questions from. There we go. There, now everybody knows that you gotta, you don't gotta. I'll get to as many questions as I can, but if you redeem the science question, that's what puts them in the queue. Holy fuck, there's so many questions. Okay, just a sec. I just saw this pop up. Akursa says, "Can you get high from sucking a penis?" I don't think so, Akursa. I think even though it tastes like it, the taste is more to do with the terpenes and not the cannabinoids. But I don't know for sure, but I don't think so. What a great question. Okay, all right. I'm gonna scroll back up to the top of the question. I just saw that one pop up and I thought that was amazing. I volunteers tribute for scientific research. Oh man, Mass just hashtag into the pog. Okay, I'll put that in the title too. Hashtag into the pog. Perfect. Thank you. That's an excellent idea. Okay, next question. So we got that one. What the fuck is the blood-brain barrier? Okay, so the blood-brain barrier is, I believe, and my anatomy is a little rusty, so I apologize if I'm wrong about this. At the base of your skull, there's exactly one way to get blood and nutrients and oxygen and shit into the brain. And that is through a single entry at the base of the skull. And there's a membrane right there It's a unique membrane. I believe it's the only one in the body that is super restrictive, and it filters all kinds of shit out so that it can't get to your brain. And it's called the blood-brain barrier, to make sure that you don't get nasty shit getting into your brain for the most part. Lynn's with a Z. Is really smelly feet a hereditary thing? I think I pass it on to my son. It probably depends, but generally I would say yes. You know, I don't actually know a lot of the science of what makes feet smell so much. I would think in general it's a bacteria thing. It's like the sweat itself doesn't usually smell. It's the bacteria, I believe, that smell. And I guess maybe if you can inherit like the genetics of the gut biota, then you can probably inherit the bacteria of like the armpit and foot biota as well. That's mostly a guess, but that would be my guess if I had to guess. I spread happiness, says awesome beard. Hope you have a lovely day. Hey, I spread happiness. Thank you for spreading some happiness here. That's so lovely. Thank you. Dr. Sam says, for people with ADD, what do you recommend from THC perspective to ease anxiety and boost memory and attention? Boy, that's tough. I would say, from a legal standpoint, I don't think I could recommend anything, because I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert. So I don't think I could necessarily recommend something. Especially the fact because all bodies behave differently, it's so hard to say. A general safe suggestion is to start low and go slow when dealing with THC, right? Start with a really low amount of THC and see how that affects, and gradually increase until you notice an effect. And if it's a negative effect, stop. Tuning THC with CBD can help. A lot of people find CBD to be calming without a high feeling necessarily. So starting low with THC, gradually increasing, and titrating with CBD can be a big thing. Also, as an unrelated side note, if you can get a clean, legitimate, safe CBD vaporizer, that's a really fantastic way to unhigh yourself. If you have some weed and you start feeling yourself get panicky and paranoid and scared, then taking some CBD, vaporized CBD, will boom, it'll kill it immediately. It'll bring it back down to earth. So if you're testing with THC compounds, having a pure CBD vaporizer can immediately undo it if you accidentally get too high. If you're like, oh fuck, then you take a CBD vaporizer. It works as an allosteric agonist, which unbinds THC. So that'll fucking boom, it'll knock it right out. Does this apply to psychedelics too? No. CBD, basically you have a CB1 receptor in your body. THC binds to CB1, that makes you high. CBD binds to CB1, unbinds THC, and you become unhigh. That's how you kind of undo. You're like, oh fuck, I'm too high. A little bit of CBD, boom, you're good. If you don't have a CBD vaporizer, then crunching raw black peppercorns can also do it. You can literally just throw some raw black peppercorns in your mouth, crunch them up in your teeth, and the beta caryophyllene also helps. Beta caryophyllene in the black peppercorns will also get you unhigh. Not as quickly and strongly as a CBD vape will, but it does help. A lot of people have reported. I actually had a person DM me one day, and they're like, fuck, dude, I think I'm too high. I'm freaking out. I was like, don't worry. It's just THC. It can't kill you. It can't make you sick. You're totally fine. Worst case scenario, just lie down, wait for it. It's okay. If you have some black peppercorns, crunch them up. It should help. And like 5 minutes later, they're like, holy shit, I just tried the black peppercorn thing. It helped so much. Thank you. So the black peppercorn thing from people who I've had DM me said that it helped them. Not as much as CBD does. CBD fucking will get you down real quick. But peppercorns are very easy to get a hold of. My goodness. We've got so many things going on. Just like, let me take a look at this. MG Frey with the 4 months. Just a sec, is this a dad joke? Yeah, I thought that was a dad joke. It's a science dad joke, so I appreciate that. MG Frey, thank you for the 4 months. No dad jokes, though. Amathyri, thank you for the 5 months. 5 months of beefy milkers. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you, Amathyri. Atemazuko gifted that sub to I Spread Happiness. Thank you. And Ecthalion with 100 bits says, I second the peppercorn. I learned that firsthand a few weeks ago. Yeah, it works. It definitely does work. Okay. Interesting question from Flock. How do males dispose of excess swimmy swims while abstinent, no helping hands? I don't know the exact answer to that, but I believe there's probably a 2-step thing of the body having a feedback process of saying, we're all full up, stop making them, or it slows down the making of them, and they eventually just break down on their own. Wet dreams? Probably wet dreams help too. I think there's a lot of answers to that, but I don't know what the specific answer is. How does caffeine work? Why does it make us more alert? That's actually a good question, Wonder Boy. In broad strokes, I think it binds to a receptor in your brain. But the specifics, I actually don't know, which I should know, shouldn't I? I should know why caffeine makes us more alert, but I don't know the specifics of the biochemistry. The sperm dying are reabsorbed into the body. Yeah, it's definitely, that's part of it too. Okay, next question from Gadnar. You make music. Can you touch on the science of music theory? Boy, you know, I used to know a lot more of this. I can tell you one kind of neat thing about music theory, which is that fifths are considered like a holy tone or God's tone. A lot of choral music is in fifths because it resonates very strongly. And when you sing in a domed area in fifths, it reverberates so strongly. It kind of has this kind of resonating effect that you can feel it. So fifths, due to the amplitude of the notes, has very powerful tone. So that's one thing I can say about music theory. Another thing about music theory, I don't know if I can say anything else. That's like the one thing that stuck with me. That's pulled from a vocal lesson that I took 11 years ago. Disco Elysium music made me cry to nowhere. Must have been a fifth. It might have been KO Chord. It literally might have been. Legitimately might have been. Just a sec. I gotta make sure where is all this stuff? Oh, it's over there. I see. 250 bits from Pocket Gnome. I noticed when caffeine does not provide any energy, it simply inhibits part of your brain that makes you feel tired. Very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you. I didn't know that. But yeah, again, I don't know what receptor it binds to. I would love to know what it binds to. What does it bind to? What does the thing it binds to do? And in what way does it modulate the thing that it binds to? That's what I'd love to know. Neater Maestro, about 4 of 7 years done with my PhD program, candidacy exam this afternoon. So I'm starting to think about career stuff. What drew you to industry instead of academia? Yeah, so Neater Maestro, the reason I did not do my PhD, so I did my master's degree, and I liked a lot of the learning in masters, in my master's degree. And I was technically on a harmonized program, where I go in with a bachelor's and I come out with a PhD. So I was never supposed to get a master's degree, but about halfway through my program, I was so sick of the people that I was with. The academic world is so nasty and so toxic and so destructive. It is so competitive, and it loses sight of the science in place of fame and notoriety. And that was so heartbreaking to me. That hurt me so bad to see the people who didn't care at all about the science of it, and they just wanted to be the most popular, most famous, most well-known, most whatever. And the way they do that is by hoarding secrets and putting down your work. And I fucking hated that. The number of people that just shit all over all my work to make theirs look better really, really disheartened me, and I walked away because I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm so fucking done with this toxic bullshit putting down of people to make your own stuff feel better. So I was done. I had to walk away. Eddie, thank you for the 3-month resub, saying love you, Tech. Thank you. My goodness. That's how science is, though. It's hardly for the betterment of mankind. Humans will never learn. No, so that Cthulhu, you know what? I agree in a lot of ways. That statement has a lot of truth to it. But I would say there are good scientists out there doing good science. But it is diluted with a large number of people who don't have the first goal of scientific endeavor in their mind. There's a lot of both. I've seen a lot of very good scientists. But there's a lot of bad ones. It's easy to get into science. You pass some tests, you're in science. It's hard to be a good scientist. So there are fewer of those. Research academia is so full of fucking drama. It's like goddamn high school. Yeah, honestly, Luke the Third, that's exactly what I told Kaylee. It's like fucking high school, man. It's like fucking high school. It's incredible. It's so disappointing. Now, 200 no, hold on. Aha, there we go. 250 bits from Pocket Gnome. Found it. Caffeine prevents adenosine from latching onto the A1 receptor. Hey, that's so fucking cool. Okay, so I guess adenosine must be when you get adenosine onto the A1 receptor, you feel tired, and caffeine blocks it, so you don't get that tired feeling. That's super fucking cool. Thank you, Pocket Gnome. I love that. Probably Sam with the 4-month resub. Thank you. Man, you guys are amazing. Thank you, guys. Okay, I need a sip of coffee. Holy shit. Super interesting, actually, right? Cannabis can treat workers like cash cows only. The HR in cannabis is horrible, right? Holy shit, Kale Corn. The horror stories I have heard about the frontline cannabis, brutal, fucking disgusting. I feel so sorry for the people. So the people who are out there on the front lines of client-facing cannabis business have got probably like the worst fucking retail jobs in the world. Everybody hates them for one reason or another. They're too smart. They're too dumb. They're a drug dealer. They're just a stoner. They're a dropout. They're a failure. And I'm like, God, these people have this wealth of knowledge that the scientists don't have yet because we haven't had time to work on it. So to discount client-facing cannabis business employees is just, it's fucking insane. I have gone to many dispensaries and talked with the people who work there to hear what they have to say. I worked in a dispensary for a year. Best job ever. That's awesome that you had a good experience. You talking about the people we buy weed from in the store? Yeah, exactly, Luke the Third, exactly. Okay, Shades Almacy. From a scientific standpoint, how likely are we to get a zombie apocalypse? Pretty unlikely. Pretty unlikely, but not impossible. So don't stop preparing, because you never know. But pretty unlikely. Maybe we'll get that ant fungus that takes us over. What the fuck? I was ready. Xynos, stay ready. Stay ready, Xynos. You never know. Let's see. Do scientists have to get CEUs, continued education units, every couple of years in order to keep any certifications, like medical coders, nurses, doctors? If you are a registered professional, yes, I believe you do. If you just have a science degree, no, I don't think so. But yeah, I think the RP chemists, I believe, don't. RPCs, oh God. So you can get a certificate from the blah 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 of chemists, so that you can sign. No, you actually can't sign stuff as a registered professional chemist anymore. The College of Applied Chemistry has now gone so far down the shitter. This was maybe 10 years ago, so maybe it's changed by now. The College of Applied Chemistry has gone so far down the shitter that people do not accept signatures from professional chemists anymore because it means nothing. But like a registered professional biologist, yes. Makes me feel better. CEUs are so important. Science medical fields are developing so much that knowledge from your degree can get old real fast. Yep, exactly, Tamazuko. Exactly. Which is why I say, like, you know, why I try to disclaim how long it's been since I learned these things. Because if I learned a thing 6 years ago, then the information might be different now. It's important. I don't attend continued learning. I don't re-up my science except for what I do on my own. So I have to disclaim the stuff that the length of time it's been since I learned something, because you never know. If you could choose another science-related career, what would you choose? Oh, that's so tough. Something other than analytical chemistry? What would I choose other than analytical chemistry? Oh, that's so tough. See, part of me wants to say like space stuff, like astronomy or deep space stuff. But the thing is so much of deep space stuff is speculative right now. So much of it is like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. It's like the technology for deep space has outpaced the ability to analyze the information from the instrumentation. And so we know less than we're able to see. So I don't think I'd want to do that. I think I'd get frustrated. There'd be way too much stuff that I don't know and I don't understand in astronomy. Another science field. Maybe like AI, if that's science. Something like machine learning. That's pretty fucking cool. Or maybe just like raw physics. Just go into the physics fucking department. Because physics is cool as hell. If I was capable of learning physics, I've tried. Physics is fucking tough, man. I have trouble with physics. My goodness. Ed for life with the 18 months. What state of matter is ice at 0 degrees Celsius? I mean, if it's ice, it's solid. You can have ice or water at 0 degrees. If you say H2O at 0 degrees, you actually need to define which state it's in because it can exist as both water or ice. Lothar Mantalar, thank you very much for the 5 gifted subs. Holy shit. Thank you. Do you think aliens were involved in the making of the pyramids of Giza, or were the ancient Egyptians just huge? I think they were just huge. I think ancient Egyptians were 400 feet tall, and their babies built the pyramids with building blocks. Okay, next question. Dr. Sam says, prove the existence of a soul. Prove the existence of a soul. Prove the existence of a soul. Okay, just a sec. I can do this. Just a sec. Just a sec. I can prove the existence of a soul. Give me a sec. He's ginger. He can't. How dare you? Just a sec. I can still prove the existence of a soul. Just a sec. I can okay, so damn it. I was gonna come up with something really funny.
Got him!
No, not got him. I was gonna come up with a funny joke. However, here's an interesting thing. A big proponent of the belief in a soul came from Rene Descartes. I took a year of philosophy. I took philosophy of mind. I took the ethics of war, violence, and terrorism, and I took what was the other one? I took another philosophy course. I can't remember it. And Rene Descartes had logically proven through philosophical exclusivities that a soul had to exist and God had to exist. I read through this proof, as have many other people, like, Renee, I don't know, man, frick. So basically, just go read Rene Descartes' thing and just believe it. That's how you prove the existence of a soul. Go read Rene Descartes and say, yes, I agree. What the fuck, Wonder Boy? Just drink your damn Kool-Aid, Wonder Boy. Hated my philosophy class in college because it just felt like a whole hour and a half of arguing. Pretty much my worst nightmare. Oh man, I really liked philosophy. If I could give up if I could be financially secure and not have to worry about earning a living, and I could go back, I would do full philosophy. I would do nothing but philosophy. I would spend all day, every day learning everything about philosophy. I fucking love it. But there was no way for me to make a stable living off that stuff. I ain't listening to no Renee about nothing. Listen, Renee had some good, smart things too, okay? Just some of it was also garbage. What flavor's the Kool-Aid? It doesn't matter. Okay, Pocket Gnome says, it was debated for a really long time whether true death was linked to the brain or the heart. What's your opinion? I mean, I think it has to be linked to the brain, right? Because think of it like this. If the heart stops, but we are able to oxygenate the brain, the person still lives. Like, the heart serves a function of just circulating blood, carrying oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and shit to the brain. If we can just do that with something else, like put a brain in a big old tub of all the things it needs, the brain would still function and you'd still be alive and you wouldn't know any difference. So I would say it's probably in the brain more than anything else. Some states consider death in different ways, some only cardiac, brain, or both. Very interesting. Yeah, I hadn't thought about the legal definition of death. I would be scared to call anybody dead who didn't reach zero brain activity for X amount of time. Flock has, why do the north and south magnetic poles move? Ah, fuck. You know, I knew this. Oh God, I don't remember. Fuck. Yeah, damn it, I don't remember. Probably the planet's spinning or something, or fluctuations in the magnetic field or something, but I don't remember the answer to that question. I used to know it though.